Hey everyone, welcome to a new video. As you could see the title, today I'm going to show you how to create a blog from scratch for your print on demand to help you boost your print on demand sales. Now, before I begin, I will say that obviously you don't have to just use it to promote print on demand stuff. You could literally sell anything. Anything you could think of, you could sell through a blog. If you haven't seen yesterday's video, where I kind of introduced the concept of blogging, and some of you guys requested this video. That's what I'm here doing. So if we look at the comments, and I'll just go ahead and play, this was the video. Pretty much every single comment of you guys wanted me to do this. So shout out to you guys. You could think of this, like I said, as a free course type video where I'm going to show you step by step how to get started. Now, it's super, super simple to start a blog. And I'm just literally going to show you the easiest, fastest, simplest way. All right. So basically what you want to do is before you even start the blog, you want to think of a niche. All right. And so I'm actually here on Redbubble as an example. You could do this for merch by Amazon. You could do this for Redbubble. You could do this for Zazzle. You could do this for Etsy. The list goes on and on. There's not a situation where you can't do this for, right? You could do this for any situation. All right. So I made this design here. It says self-made. And, the self-made design it's kind of like a concept in the business, financial, self-development, entrepreneurial type niche. All right. So it's nothing crazy. There's nothing too fancy about it. I just made something super simple to get things going for the sake of this video. All right. So basically what I'm targeting is the self-development type niche. Now, if you are creating different designs, you want to stick to that specific niche. And it's okay if your store has a bunch of different designs from different niches. That's not a big deal. What you do want, however, is you want your blog to stick to a specific niche. So ideally, to get the most money out of your blog and to get the most success out of it, you do want to stick to a niche in terms of the content. One of the things that we're going to discuss is Google's topical authority. All right. So right now, Google is the #1 search engine. All right. And there's a concept called topical authority. And the more content you have on a specific topic in your blog, Google realizes that, and it does help you in terms of ranking. And Google wants to put out the best results for their users so that they can make the most money from their advertisers, right? So that's how Google stays the #1 search engine. All right. Now, who knows? Things might switch into the future. Technology changes. But right now, Google's the way to go. Google's the best. And so we're going to work based on what Google needs. So Google's topical authority. So that's why we say you stick to a specific niche, one specific niche for your blog. So in terms of what you're going to sell, all right, you have your products. And your products are going to share the same niche with your content. Sorry for the handwriting, with your content, right? So the niche and the products, the content, same niche, right? So let's just say I'm doing self-development type products, then I'm going to write self-development content, okay? Self-improvement type content. Let's just say let's say you're an Etsy seller and you sell stickers for kids. Well, in that case, you might want to write content for moms who buy products for their kids. Does that make sense? So you want to think of what the niche is, and then the target market for that specific niche, right? If I'm creating, custom baseball jerseys, right? Then who am I targeting? I'm targeting the customers who are going to buy the custom baseball jerseys. It could be individual people. It could be coaches of teams. It could be people who run like little league type stuff. So there's different situations here. And you want to target the topics of your blog for those specific people, right? So in my case, mine is very, very simple. It's really not a difficult niche whatsoever. Self-development, self-improvement, mindset improvement, all that kind of stuff. And I have a lot of designs on my site, on Redbubble here, that happens to help that. Now, something I want to be clear, if you didn't catch it already, you don't have to just have products in your blog from one website. Meaning, if I have products on Redbubble and Zazzle and Etsy, I could promote all of those in my blog, as long as it relates, right? We want it to relate. So if my content is about self-development, it really wouldn't make sense for me to link to pictures of tigers as stickers unless it had something specifically to do with self-development. All right, makes sense, makes sense. Good. So now that you guys know that, let's go ahead into the design aspect and creating the actual website. So I use Rocket Web Builder. I love Rocket Web Builder. I have Rocket Web Builder. It's great, and it makes things super easy. What you want to do is we're going to, for the sake of this video, we're going to stick with the Bloggers plan, okay? So the Bloggers plan is the cheapest plan. If you pay yearly, you're going to pay $13 a month times 12. If you pay monthly, you're going to pay $15 each and every month, right? So you're not doing an upfront payment, but you're paying $15. So you do get a little discount if you pay yearly. But regardless, we're going to stick to the Bloggers plan. The reason why is because most print-on-demand sites already have a place where they're going to transact for you. So Redbubble, I don't have to give them any kind of account information. Like I don't have to connect my account to Stripe or anything like that to be able to get sales, right? They process the sale and then they send me the money later. So in that case, all I need is a blog. I don't need to have an e-commerce store. I don't need to have any of that because these sites take care of that for me. So all I need is a blog, and I also get 2 free pages, right? So I'll show you how this is going to work. So I'm going to go over here to templates, okay? And with templates, and by the way, guys, any kind of resources I mention, links in the description, all right? And by the way, the reason also why I'm using Rocket Web Builder, it comes with a free AI writing tool inside of it that could literally write content for us every single part of the game. So from the blog posts to the titles to the top, everything, okay? So we have 2 templates here that are called Certified Blogger. So we have Certified Blogger number 1, and we have Certified Blogger number 2. Let's go ahead and view one of these. Okay, and it might load a little bit depending on if your browser reached these pages before, but I do assure you it's very, very quick. You can try it at your house, sitting down, give it a shot. But anyways, I'm going to click start with this theme. I'm going to click with any one of them, and now I'm going to create an account. So I'm just going to pause my screen very, very quickly, and I'm going to create an account. All right, so I'm in the process of creating an account. I typed in all the information. I just have to do like this Google verification kind of thing, which to me is a little bit annoying sometimes, but it is what it is. And once I'm done, I'll be able to verify here. So let's give it a second. Let's hit verify, and let's get started. I'll say never for this website here. Okay, and let me go to the web page. All right, and now I have to write a title for the blog. So I'll just call this Bloggers, right? Something like that. It doesn't matter what you call it. You can always change this later, so it really doesn't matter, okay? So now that my template is chosen for me, what I'm looking at here is this is the blogging dashboard. So if you look here, these are blogs that are already created for me, but they really have nothing to do with what I am doing or what I'm promoting, so I would never keep these. And also, this is just demo content, so I wouldn't want to have these anyway. But these are examples of blog posts, okay? Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you, you see this button here, this little eyeball button? This is the website preview. So it will show you what the blog looks like in a preview format. But also remember, we get 2 free pages. So there are no pages here except for the blog. The blog counts as 1, then we get 2 pages. So I'm going to go over here, I'm going to hit add new, and I'm going to go to page. I can't add a store because store is not part of my plan. I'm using the cheapest plan here. So I'm going to go to pages, and my goal is to create a page that will basically let Google know what on earth is this website on, right? And so you can think of it as a home page. Now, here's the thing, guys. So if you look to the left-hand side, you have all different categories of pages. You have lead generation pages, webinars, checkout, right? And just there's a lot of content here. So checkout page, product page, and these are pages for landing pages, right? Now, if I wanted a checkout, well, the system already has a checkout page. Obviously, it doesn't matter for me right now because this is not a store, but it's a checkout page. Like if I'm building a funnel or anything like that, I can use this kind of stuff. So we have a product page, right? We have a home page. We have a thank you page. We have all these kind of pages. It's a lot of pages, right? And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click on the home, and I have all these different options. You can see how many options I have here. And what this is this is a template. And you can customize this to any kind of desire you want. So what I'm going to do is I can always preview any kind of page that I want. If I don't want to preview, I don't have to. I'm just going to go ahead and hit select. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to type a name for the specific page. So in my case, I'll just call this my home page, right? And from an SEO standpoint, what my business is going to be on, or what my website is going to be on, my blog is going to be self-development or self-motivation for entrepreneurs. So what I'll call this is I'll type in self-motivation for entrepreneurs, right? And if I'm spelling is wrong, it doesn't matter. I could fix it. I have the AI work for me, and I'm just going to paste that here. Now, this is the SEO info. So this is what people are seeing from a Google standpoint. And I'm just going to hit add. I can add this other information in later, okay? And by the way, this video that you're seeing here, there are videos on every single part of Rocket Web Builder to help you like understand what's going on, how to set certain things up, things like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's nothing crazy like that. But you could see here, even on the left-hand side, there's a help section that you can request certain help. So like if you have a question on how to do X or Y or Z, it can help you do all that here, right? So there's a ton of information, all right? Now, you can see that this is the pre-built home page, right? So I can go over here to my menu. This is the home page. And here is my blog. So the first thing I'm going to do is I need to come up with some blog topics. So I'm just going to delete all these other blogs that I don't need. So I'll go over here, just delete some of these. I got my selected ones. Let me go ahead and select these three and delete, all right? So you guys can see what I'm doing here, just so that you can be really familiar with how things work. Super simple, okay? And then they're all in the trash here. I can restore them if I want. I can, go to my settings. Anything I want to do, I could do, okay? First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to edit, header, and sidebar. My blog is not going to be about recipes, so this image, I don't need it. So I'm going to go over here to block, and I'm just going to delete it. Right now, it's going to be black. I'm going to delete these images and this information later. I'll edit this later. I'll just hit save, okay? And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to add post, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to communicate with the built-in AI right now, because I want to be able to ask it, what topic should I write about for my blog? So here I'm going to say, by the way, whenever I click on text, there's this little AI button that pops up. So for example, I click on this text, there's this little AI. It says improve your content with AI. If you actually just let it work, it will let you know that it's an AI SEO assistant. So any kind of content you write, it's automatically AI SEO optimized. And it is built with OpenAI's GPT language. So, it is pretty cool. All right. So I'm going to go over here to generate, and I'm going to say, think of SEO blog post titles in a list format for a self-motivation for entrepreneurs blog. Okay. And I'm going to hit generate, and it's going to do that for me. Now, what I like to do is I like to copy the prompt sometimes, because just in case if I click off or something happens, I always have the prompt saved for me. And you could see here, it just did it for me. So it came up with a few articles. It says overcoming procrastination, tips for maintaining self-motivation. That's actually a good topic for a blog. I'm going to cut it, and I'm going to paste it here. And I'm going to use this as a draft. Of course, I have to set up a category. Like I get an error. It says you must add at least one category. So I'll go over here, right? And since this is about self-motivation, I'll just go over here, copy the word self-motivation, go into my categories, and add self-motivation as a category, hit plus. Now, I should be able to save this as a draft. Boom, saved. Now I'm going to go here, and I'm going to look for other topics for other blog posts. So it says building resilience, cultivating inner strength for entrepreneurs. Okay, so I could take this, copy it as well, save this as a draft, go to all my posts, and then add this as another post, right? And save this as a draft. Same mistake. I have to create it as a category. So I'll label this motivation as well. Self-motivation. It's already there, right? So I'll hit draft, okay? Go back to the original, all right? Or this is the original, the one on the bottom here. And I'm going to get one more. So this is just, for tutorial purposes. It says, harnessing the power of positive thinking for self-motivation, finding inspiration, how to stay motivated as an entrepreneur, the science of self-motivation. That's actually pretty cool, right? So the science of self-motivation. Now, what I want you to understand is these are topics. Now, these are not necessarily requirements for titles. These are topics, okay? Now, the beautiful thing about Google is that I spoke to you guys about this yesterday, and this is why I recommend you watch yesterday's video if you haven't seen it already, which is when you're creating content for Google. Yesterday we talked about keywords and their search volume. So somebody might be searching for the word self-motivation, and that might get 1,500 searches a month, 2,000 searches a month, whatever it is. And like I said, I did show that yesterday, in the content yesterday on the channel yesterday. I showed how to figure that out. Okay. But people might be searching, for that at a good level. It might be 1,900 searches a month, 25,000, 5,000, 200, whatever the number is. But the beautiful thing about Google, like I said, is there's a feature in the algorithm that allows us to rank for similar keywords. So for example, all right, here's the title called The Science Behind Self-Motivation for Entrepreneurs. Maybe people aren't necessarily searching word for word for this keyword, but I could still rank my article for things that are similar. So maybe there is a search volume for science behind self-motivation. Maybe that gets 700 searches a month, right? And I'm just throwing numbers out there. I'm not saying it is. I'm just literally giving you an example, okay? But for the sake of time, I don't want to waste time by showing you guys things that I already showed in the last video, all right? So the science behind self-motivation, maybe that gets 700 searches a month. And because this is an adjacent term, I will get some Google traffic for it, depending on how good I write my article. And there are 3 concepts for ranking on Google. So when you're on Google, right, and you perform a search, right, let's just go to Google here real quick, and I search for honey buns, okay, let's go ahead and search for honey buns. It's a cool snack, whatever, right? The thing that shows up on Google first is what Google believes to be the best link, right? And so if I want to rank on honey buns, for example, I have to be providing Google with 3 things, and it's called expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. Now, honey buns is food, so it has nothing to do with this, but for blogs, specifically for blogs, you can use the acronym EAT to remind yourself. Expertativeness, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness, or expertise, authority, and trust, okay? How do you build expertise, authority? By simply creating more content. And how do you build trust? By keeping, giving the right information. So if I'm talking about the science behind self-motivation, I have to include the right info. Now, guess what? This is the cool thing. I don't have to be some sort of scientific wizard. I got AI to help me. AI can tap into all that. So what I'm going to do to the AI here is I'm going to say, generate text. I'm going to say, write for me a outline of the science behind self-motivation, just like this. And I'm going to say, include chemistry, right? Or biochemistry. Let's go ahead and put that in there, biochemistry, right? And I'll hit submit. And once again, I like to copy the prompt, right? Just in case if anything goes away, I don't have to retype the whole thing out. That's a little pro tip. Saves a little time sometimes. But you could see here, the reason why it's taking time is because it's actually writing the content for me. The AI is sitting here, right now, writing the content for me. And boom, look at that. This is an outline, literally, of whatever I asked it for. So I can sit here and read all this to you guys, but you get the point. This is literally information. So I'm going to read the 2 paragraphs, the first 2 paragraphs, just to show you what I'm talking about. It says self-motivation is a fascinating subject that encompasses various scientific principles, including biochemistry. The underlying science behind self-motivation revolves around the intricate interplay between neurotransmitters, hormones, and brain regions that shape our motivations and drive us to achieve our goals. I actually know that because I took a neuroscience class. But anyways, at the core of self-motivation lies dopamine, a neurotransmitter commonly associated with the reward and pleasure. Dopamine plays a critical role in the brain's reward system, reinforcing behaviors that bring around pleasure experiences. When we set and achieve goals, dopamine is released, creating a sense of accomplishment and satisfaction, which further fuels our motivation. Now, you can go ahead and read stuff about the other hormone, like neurotransmitters. You got serotonin, right? You got the HPA, hypothalamus, pituitary, adrenal axes. There's a lot of information here. I'm personally not going to read it because that's not the focus of today's video. But you could see here, it wrote like scientist level content for me that I didn't write. And I don't have to be an expert in the information. I just need to be the creator. I need to have the ideas and the creativity. And if you're listening to this, you're doing print on demand, you probably have a lot of creativity. I could say, like from a psychological test standpoint, if I took all the print on demand people in the world and I tested them, they're probably higher on creativity than regular people are. Then that's just natural. So what you need to be is, you don't need to be a scientist. You don't need to be a genius to write these blogs. You just need to have some creativity and let the AI do the rest of the work. So what I'm going to do here now is I like to improve the content. So you could see here when I have any kind of content created, right? This is the AI doing its work when I hit generate text. But I also have other options. I have improve, I have expand, and I have shorten. And I also have a tone that I want to set, right? So I could just go over here and I could hit improve, and it's literally going to improve this content. It's literally taking the content, looking through it all, and figuring out how can we make this better. And I like that about that, because obviously with Google, I want to bring my authority, my expertise, right, in front of Google and give them the best shot possible to rank me. And this is one component to a blog. I can go over here, right, and drag these widgets. And this is the next portion of the video. So what you want to do is you want to understand what these widgets do, okay? So we have blocks and we have widgets. The nice thing about Rocket Web Builder, the platform, unlike other website building platforms, especially like archaic WordPress, is it has a block and widget system. So I can click here on block, right? And these are pre-built sections to a website already built for me. Now, any kind of good blog has built-in features. It could be images, it could be galleries, it could be products for sale, it could be all those things. In fact, in yesterday's video, you saw me live put a product inside the blog. How was I able to do all that stuff? It's through the blocks and the widgets. The widgets are nothing more than I was going to say sections, but it's really elements of a block, okay? And the block is the whole component. So if we look at this block, for example, and we click on it, right, we can make some of this text smaller. The reason why it's so big is because I never edited my global styling, right? But if we go over here, I could just highlight this, make it a little bit smaller so it's more visually appealing for you guys right now. And you can kind of see I can edit the line height as well. So let's make this like a 0.8. You can see what I'm talking about here. So this is a container, and a container is nothing more than just a section of your website. And the block is within the container. And what the block contains is an image, which is a widget. You could see here, the image is a widget here. It has a heading, it has text, it has a button, and it has another heading, right? If I don't want these, I can get rid of it. You know, it's separating columns, whatever. I'm just simply explaining what a block is. And I want to take the time really quick, guys, to show you one of my personal blogs that has a lot of blocks in them. So let's go to howtoboosttestosterone.org, okay? And this is one of my personal blogs, my personal sites. And actually, let me go on Google here because you might have a better experience. Let's go ahead and go to Google. And this is my blog, my website, that has a lot of content in it, like a lot of content, right? So it's got a blog section, it's got an ebook for sale, and I'm not trying to sell you the ebook, I'm just simply showing you the type of stuff that it has. It's got a section in Arabic with different blog posts. It has ads on the website. It has different categories of different blogs, like it's got all kinds of different stuff. And so I want to give you guys an example of, like, for example, a section. This is an ad. Let me go ahead and get rid of the ad. Sorry about that. But I want to show you guys a section within the blog that shows these different blocks when they come to life. All right. So here we have, does eating raw liver improve testosterone? By the way, these sections here are just ways how the blog is previewed. And yes, all of my blog websites are hosted on Rocket Web Builder, of course. All right. So I have my image and I have a widget right here. It's an image. Now, if you notice, this image has an alt text. If you hit right click and then inspect, it has an alt text. What is an alt text? Let me show you real quick. An alt text is just a way to describe to Google what the image is about, and that helps with Google ranking as well. So I could take an image here, and I go over here and type in the image description. That's the alt text, okay? So anyways, that's not too important, but you get the point. So we have images here, we have text, right? We have headlines, right? We have different links interlinking, we have more images, and you could see this is a long blog post, but I really didn't write most of it. This is a section here of widgets where I link to other blog posts, which is something you want to do as well when you create your blog post. And remember, I really don't need to tell you how to write a blog post. I mean, there are some specifics, which is why I have cashcownichesites.com, which I actually want to show you guys. I believe I have a link here. Yep, cashcownichesites.com. It's basically where I teach people how to do SEO, how to blog, all that kind of stuff is here. But it's, you know, intricate stuff like how to pick the perfect niche, or, you know, how to monetize from that niche, how to write a blog post with GPT-4 if that's what you want to do, the perfect blog post checklist. That's just some, you know, SEO intricate type stuff, right? It's nothing crazy. I'll leave that link in the description if you happen to want to check it out. But really, if you guys can sit and have a conversation with somebody about whatever topic you want to go over, then you're good enough to write a blog post on it. And that's what Google is looking for. It's looking for a positive experience for the reader, all right? So you guys can feel free to check out this website. Literally type it in, howtoboosttestosterone.org, and just go through it for your inspiration. So you could see this is my homepage, right? So I have a banner. And remember what I told you guys, having a homepage is basically like you telling Google what your website is all about. That's really all it is. It's kind of like giving the users the best experience they could possibly have. So on my homepage, obviously I have a menu on the bottom, on the top. I have a search bar so people can search for specific topics. Like if somebody wants to type in testosterone, right? They can hit, they can search for it rather. They could hit search and they could see product. They can see blog posts about testosterone. They could see a lot of different stuff, okay? So that's like an example, right? So I'm giving them the best experience, and you guys could do that because you have Rocket Web Builder as well. You could just literally go here, right? And we could save the work we've done so far. Let's just go hit update. Let's go back here. Let's go to our pages, right? And I'll click on my home page. I'll click here, and I'll start editing my blog's homepage. Me personally, this is like a product page for sale, so I wouldn't use this as a homepage. I would have to edit it. So how would I do that? I would go to my block, right? I would add a block, and I would look, okay, well, what's a good homepage? Like, how do I start a homepage? I started with a hero banner. So maybe this is a good hero banner, right? But it's on the bottom. How do I move it up? I click on this little arrow. I move it up, right? I make this smaller maybe. I even add a image to the background, right? I could do that. I change up the headline, right? I could do that. You guys seen here in this website, I have like a little menu here that separates the categories of blogs. You can do that as well, right? You can go over here, hit add block. You can hit empty block. So right here, empty block, right? And you can separate it into columns. So you can go over here. Let's say you have 4 different categories for your blogs. 4 categories, boom, right? So now it's separated amongst 4 categories. Then I'm going to add my button. So I could do that. So I'll go over here and drag and drop a button. And that button is supposed to bring you to the category link, right? And to figure out the category link, it's simple. You just click on whatever blog post it is, and it will tell you what category it's in based on the settings that you've input. So here you could see, like this blog post is in the hormones category, right? So you could see over here, let me get rid of this ad, I have a hormones category. You get what I'm saying? So you don't have to design it this way. I'm just simply sharing how I designed it, right? And so here I post some recently published blog posts, and I have that here. If you're thinking like, well, how do I do that? It's simple. You go over to Rocket Web Builder, okay? You go over here to website. You go to your empty block, okay? And this is where you drag your widget. So there's a bunch of widgets. I can drag a headline. I could drag some text. I could drag buttons. I could drag whatever I want. But I'm going to go over here and go to my blog and hit blog. And then I could select how I want it to be viewed. Now, in my case, I don't have any necessarily blogs published here, but you can see I can choose how I want my blogs to show. I can have the images showing. I could have all these different things. I could have them in large size. I could have them medium. I could have them in masonry. I could do so many different things, so many different options. So you could see here, the reason why I chose this question mark is because I don't actually have an image here, but you get the point. That's how it works. So all you have to do for a blog, if you're going to be on the bloggers plan, which is the cheapest plan, is you need to consistently post those blog posts, right? When you consistently post those blog posts, make sure you watch yesterday's video to show how I linked a product. You can do that as well. And you could take inspiration from other bloggers too, see how they do things. But after you create some blogs, work on that homepage. Once you get the homepage taken care of, right? You have your homepage, you have a bunch of blog posts. Now it's just a matter of linking your products, whether it be from Redbubble or from wherever, kind of site, and link them to your blog. Then what you want to do is you want to start looking at how you can improve your blog. Small things. It could be a picture on the blog post. It could be, doing some SEO, meaning doing some search engine optimization. Looking at the blog post and seeing, okay, what can I improve here? What can I change? How can I fix my spelling? How can I do X, Y, Z? Whatever the case may be, right? You look at those things. If you have trouble kind of learning what is SEO and how to learn SEO, I literally have a whole website, like I said, Cash Cow Niche Sites. I think here it is, Cash Cow Niche Sites. We have some free blogs on here. And I actually have a YouTube channel for it, so I'll leave a link in the description as well. But I posted some stuff on here. So, like for example, I posted a Mangles tutorial and review. Mangles is a keyword research tool. So if you want to be like a keyword research ninja, literally come to the website, read the blog post. Look how long it is. It's super long, right? And there's a lot of information, and I'm very, very detailed about it. And there's also a discount for the software. Not that I'm trying to plug it. I'm just simply sharing. This is one of the softwares I use for keyword research, right? And I explain actually how to use it. So you could see here I put like little arrows. I'm pointing to things. And you can actually use this blog post, guys, as just a guide for how do you write your own blog post, like how descriptive, how, things like that. So now let me go ahead and kind of explain from a sales standpoint how this works, right? So if I'm selling this t-shirt, the hoodie, the sticker, whatever the case may be, the first thing I need to do is I need to make it visible. So that's the first step. I need to make it visible to the customer. If the customer happens to be interested and likes it, they're going to purchase, right? So first thing, I need to make it visible. The second thing is I need to make sure that I tailor my content to the needs of the consumer. So if my topics are all about self-development because my products are about self-development, then I need to think, what are the best things I can do that will help my end user? So I could think of, okay, what does somebody who's looking for self-development need to hear? Maybe they need some motivation. Maybe they need some tips and tricks on self-development. And you could actually ask the built-in AI to help you with that. You don't have to know that kind of information, right? And so also the built-in AI is built into the website design as well. So if you're designing the homepage, you just literally click on stuff and you could say, create me a headline for this or create me a title for this. Whatever, however you want to set it up, you can do that, right? But my goal is I'm trying to build something sustainable, right? So for example, on my How to Boost Testosterone blog, it doesn't get crazy search. I mean, you could do a Google search on how much traffic it gets. Some resources say like up to 6,000 hits a month. Some say 400 hits a month. Everybody has different numbers. I could just tell you it's sometimes like anywhere from 2,200 to 2,800 hits a month. It's relatively new. I started it this year, and I started a number of months ago, but it's relatively new. But the point here is that when it gets these hits, I'm getting sales every single day on the ebook, right? Because people get access to it. And I'm getting sales occasionally, like let's say once every few days on the supplement. I'll just show it to you here, the supplement, right? And that's not because of some special tactic. I'm just simply showing it in the articles, and I'm explaining to them what the benefit of it is, right? Now, for a t-shirt, right, you don't need to necessarily explain the benefit. Or for a sticker, you don't need to explain the benefit, right? You could just say, if you enjoy self-development, get yourself one of these t-shirts. It's really the same thing as like the passion of the game. Have you ever seen, like, for example, Michael Jordan fans? They're super fanatic about his sneakers, right? And they'll wait outside lines just to buy shoes. It's the same concept, right? Like, people like the topic that you're involved in so much, and they like the design, that your design is going to do the selling for you. It's going to do the talking for you. Certain things you don't need to necessarily do sales for. Like if somebody says to me, "Sell me this t-shirt," I would say, "Well, do you like the t-shirt?" I would just simply say that. And if they say no, then I would say, "Good. Then I'm not going to sell it to you because you have no interest in it. If you don't like it, there's no point of me selling it to you." Now, the whole point here is that Google is going to create that match for me. So by default, I have a higher chance of people liking my t-shirts, my designs, my whatever it's called, because it's in the same niche, right? So a good example of this, and I actually used this example before, but if you guys are familiar with Kali Muscle, I want to pull him up real quick. This bodybuilder guy, in his YouTube videos, he did a watermelon fast, right? So for like 30 days, he was eating watermelon, right? So I want to pull up the photo here, but it is what it is. So he's like 30-something days or 30 days. I don't know the exact date because I wasn't watching it all every day, but he was eating just straight up watermelons. And he created a shirt that said watermelon power, right? And people started buying this watermelon t-shirt. Was it an amazing fancy t-shirt design? No, it wasn't. It was actually very basic. But the reason why people bought it is because they enjoy the movement, right? The meaning behind the shirt, the vibe behind it, everything that went behind the scenes that is in relation to that shirt. And so your viewers are going to see the same thing. So in terms of t-shirts, stickers, and hats, there's nothing special that you can say that will sell them a t-shirt. T-shirts are one of those items that are like commodities. Same things if you're on Zazzle, for example. If it's a t-shirt on Zazzle, right, and there's no customization or anything special behind it, it's the same thing. There's nothing I could say that will really sell it. Yeah, I could tell them the material, whatever, but that's not a selling point because that's based on preference. Some people like cotton, some people like polyester, etc. But where it does come into selling, depending on your product, and this is actually an edge, is, for example, if you sell on Etsy. Now, you don't need to do this, but let's say, for example, your niche is specifically targeting moms with autistic children, and you create products for those children, right? Your target market is not the children, but your target market is the moms who are reading your blog. Now, in that case, now you have some selling points that you can use. Now, you could, maybe you design books for kids with children, or maybe you do stickers, or whatever the case may be. I'm not an expert on this stuff, but I'm just simply giving examples. In that case, you have something to market now, and you have something to sell off of. But if it's a t-shirt, something like this, your design should do most of the selling for you. And the work behind the scenes, creating the articles, creating the topics, and Google finding you, your visitors, your webpage visitors, it's going to do most of the work for you, okay? Now, as long as you're consistent, right, you're going to get results. Now, let's actually put a concrete number on it. I would not really focus on traffic until you've completed 30 to 60 articles. Now, the reason why I say 30 to 60 is because it depends on your niche. The more competitive, the more articles you're going to need to do on different topics as well. You don't want to create content on the same thing. So, for example, if I write a blog post using this other example on how to, or the science behind self-discipline, I don't want to create one article around the science of self-discipline, and then I create another article around the chemistry of self-discipline. It's repetitive, and I'm going to keep this giving the same information. Okay, you'll see, like, for example, in my testosterone blogs, a mistake that one of my virtual assistants made for me is that he was kind of repeating himself. This is when I had the virtual assistant working on it. And this is where actually in the other YouTube channel, I started taking on this channel or taking on the blog, and I started showing people how to do things themselves. And that's kind of how the other channel was birthed. But anyways, the point is that you want to keep things unique. And if you ever want to add content onto a certain topic, you go back to that blog post and you edit it and you make it better. And Google will take note of that because Google wants to get your content ranked, right? Now, I've been talking for 39 minutes. I don't want to keep this video on for too long and bore you guys. So what I'll do is I'll leave a link in the description to the YouTube channel behind the blog where I teach people how to do the SEO, how to write articles, how to make traffic, how to gain money, etc., how to make money from that special angle. So let me actually see if I click here, visit YouTube channel, right? Let's see here. Let's let it load. This is the channel. It's a small channel. It's nothing crazy. It's a small channel for sure, but I do teach people, like I said, keyword research, doing the SEO, doing the blogging, Google Search Console, auditing different things like that. So I'll leave that link in the description box down below if you want to watch that channel and gain some insight on how to create your blog and how to do things. But I can tell you this, and this is kind of my whole MO on this channel, the Cash Cow Niche Sites channel, is that you don't need to have a huge blog with huge amounts of traffic to get sales. Because what you're doing is you're tapping into a very, very specific audience. And this is something that I've been trying to get through on the other channel and really say is that when you're creating products, when you're creating blog posts, they should, especially if you're focused on making sales and not just getting ad money, if you're focused on that, right, then the numbers aren't your focus. You don't need huge numbers. What you need is numbers in small amounts that are very hyper-focused on what you're sharing. So, for example, if I have a blog informing people all about peptides, for example, right? People are going to be very, very interested in peptides. I don't need to target everybody in the fitness space or in the steroid space or in the hormone space. All I need to target is that one space, the peptide space. And if I become an expert in that space, well, then I have some authority, expertise, and trustworthiness. Remember that word that I was saying earlier, EAT, right? So my point here is that when you're specific and hyper focused on a certain thing, you'll get better at it. And I actually did this system. I don't know if you guys know this, but I have a number of blog sites, and one of my blog sites is reviewing treadmills. Okay, in my case, I was not selling t-shirts or hats. The product was an affiliate link towards certain treadmills, and I was reviewing them, hyper detailed reviews. Now, the reason why that website succeeded is because there was people out there in the world that really wanted a good comparison between certain brands and certain kinds of treadmills. And I was able to do well because I was comparing them so intricately, so deeply, right? And by the way, the AI could do most of it, whether it's the built-in AI with Rocket Web Builder inside the blogs, as you guys saw, the built-in AI, or GPT. It can do a lot. It could do a whole lot. And that's why, like I said, I recommend that you guys check out that channel, because there are certain things I do show that obviously it would just take too long to show on this channel. But, that's how you really get far, okay? So the beautiful thing about the blog is you're not just selling t-shirts or hats or hoodies, but you could sell so many different things. And instead of this being like a side hustle or a little bit of money, you could turn this into a career. It's just a matter of being consistent. And I saw a comment on the video the other day, which is this one, where somebody said, oh, like, I totally understand the value of doing this. I think it was this comment right here. He said, I'm way ahead of you, man. The only issue is driving traffic to the blog. So that's the thing, is like, if your content is good, you don't have to worry about driving traffic to the blog. That will take care of itself. Google will take care of that. Excuse me, sorry, the ad started playing. Google will take care of that. You don't need to worry about that. Google, once they find more and more expertise type content on your blog that other blog sites are not offering, they're going to start ranking you on Google, and you're going to start stealing traffic literally from competitors. So you don't have to drive traffic. Now, could you drive traffic? Sure. But it's literally like, it's not the right move for me. Okay, I'll just put it that way. That there are bloggers on YouTube, right? If you search YouTube and you start learning about blogging, there's a large group of people on YouTube that do organic Pinterest, and they get a lot of traffic from organic Pinterest. But for me, the thing is I never had to worry about doing that because I put all my focus into the content. If I create really, really good blog posts, I don't need to sit there and promote it on social media, okay? Now, here's the thing that a lot of people don't catch on to, and this is really where it's rocket fuel for your business. When you do have a blog that is generating any kind of visits, right? When somebody clicks on a design, let's just say it's this design, you know what's going to happen, right? Redbubble is going to retarget them. They're going to show them ads of that product over and over and over and over again, right? So they're doing marketing on your behalf, You know, they're spending money on your behalf. And these are people that are already targeted because they obviously saw your content on Google, right, through the articles, and they're going to like what you have to offer. So even if they're not ready to buy right away, they could buy down the road, right? That's one thing. The second thing on top of that is if they buy, you know what happens to organic ranking? Your organic ranking starts to rank higher. Now, that doesn't matter if you're on TeePublic. That doesn't matter if you're on Zazzle or Etsy. It doesn't matter if you're on Redbubble. It doesn't matter if you're on Merch by Amazon, right? Merch by Amazon has the bestseller ranking. The more sales and reviews you have, the higher you are in the bestseller ranking. Same thing. So what will happen is instead of being on page 2, spot 10, where nobody may see you, or less people may see you for a certain keyword, now, because you're getting sales from your own website, right, where people are reading the articles, they're clicking on the products, it's taking them to the product and they're buying. Now, instead of being on page 2, you might be on top of page 1 because you've gave it that influx of traffic, which is the exact same thing that I do with the Instagram marketing. This is why I spoke so heavily about promoting your Merch by Amazon, print on demand, TeePublic, Redbubble, whatever listing through Instagram and using the Instagram automation tool to grow the following and get more followers, because the followers, they're only going to follow you if they're interested in what you have to offer. And the products, the content that you're posting is about your products. Therefore, that means by default, they are interested in the products you are selling. So it's just a matter of time till they convert. So you keep marketing, you keep growing the following on Instagram using the automation tool. And then what happens, right? You get sales. When you get sales on those products, they boost up themselves in ranking. That's why I call it literally rocket fuel for your print-on-demand business, right? So all these things that I'm saying work. You just have to give it some time. So in reference to the person that commented that, his name is Roy Nixon, Jacquees 8700. You're not going to have to drive traffic to the blog. Google's going to do that for you when you do a good job writing the content. And this is, I say this, I've said this on the other channel as well, the blogging channel. I've said this, but you don't have to start with content that you're passionate about, but it's best to start in that arena because typically what you're passionate about is what you know a lot about. And you're probably considered an expert compared to most average people who are just getting in learning about that thing. And if you can offer expert advice that other blogs aren't necessarily offering, or maybe you're giving a take that other blogs won't, Google will take that into consideration. And trust me, from the moment that your blogs get crawled, they're going to start testing. From an indexation standpoint, they're starting to test. And they'll do it slowly. It will take its time, right? But over time, you're going to start getting traffic. Traffic will turn into sales. Sales will turn into organic ranking, even higher. Organic ranking will turn to more sales amongst competitors, right? And that will turn into more sales and more sales and more sales. Next thing you know, you developed a career for yourself starting your own business. So I'm not trying to sell you guys a dream or anything crazy here. It's literally about consistency. For some people, they could be very successful in their niche within 7 months, 6 months time. But for other people, it might take them 3 years. It just depends on the niche. It depends on the competition. It depends on the workload that you're putting out there. There's so many things that can affect it. But in terms of a valid traffic method to get sales, the blogging is a huge thing that I can almost guess that 99.9% of print-on-demand sellers do not do. And they don't take advantage of because it is harder and it requires more work. Because anything that takes effort for people, most people don't want to do it. You know what I'm saying? And that's natural. That's a part of the game. But it's just a matter of doing it. All right, guys. So I'll leave all the resources to help you, give you more information on all this stuff, guys, in the description box down below. The free videos, the free channel, all that kind of stuff. Just check it out. And that's assuming you want to go ahead and get started with this. All right. I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you guys for watching and peace out. Bye.